and welcome to the Dicey Drive-In. I'm Witchy Mitchy,
I'm Susie Q.
and you might notice if you've watched any of our streams in the past, we are not where we usually are.
Nope, we are broadcasting from our bedroom because I am pregnant and that couch is uncomfortable for me.
So we have revamped our setup a little bit to hopefully not drop frames. We are not wired currently. We've been wired for the past I don't know how long. But you about settled, Ghost?
That's why this is weird.
This week this is a show where we turn your favorite books, movies, TV shows, what have you, into D&D campaigns that you can play. And this week we are covering Thanksgiving and Eli Roth 2023. I would not go as far as to call it a masterpiece, but
It was fun.
it was fun. And Eli Roth is always going to bring something interesting to the table in terms of horror. So yeah, that's what we're doing this week. So this is interesting in that it is a movie where there is a themed killer and the killer feeds into their own theming, and everything has to do with Thanksgiving, obviously. Ghost, get up here. Come on. Come on. Get up here. Come on.
There you are. Lay down.
Don't. Lay down. Don't unplug the mic. Lay down.
There you go. All right. So yes, we have to move things around a little bit. This is Ghost, the co-host. Right, bud?
Everybody's favorite part of the show, Ghost's ass.
Yep. Just be glad you don't have to smell it.
Should get that husky twerking emoji for the Twitch.
Anyway, so we honestly just finished this movie, so
We haven't even had a chance to discuss it amongst ourselves, which is the usual.
Yeah.
Before we get started, so it's basically everything is themed around John Carver, the first Pilgrim, in Plymouth, and it takes place in Massachusetts, and we live in Massachusetts, and it is very clearly geared towards people who have lived in smaller towns in Massachusetts, because oh my god,
except it wasn't filmed in Massachusetts.
I know. I realized that instantly, but
Yeah,
you were like, "Oh, it's definitely filmed in actually Plymouth," and I'm like,
Look!
"No."
I like to live in my little fantasy world, and I would like to think that they would actually use that, but I guess there might be too many tourists. I don't know. But it was filmed in Canada. But it was a good movie. I liked it. I mean,
Much like many things that are supposed to be set in the Northeast, it was filmed in Canada.
that it was. So I think the only real, Gina Gershwin was in it.
Gina Gershon.
And Patrick Dempsey, and a couple other people that worked in Hostel with Eli Roth. There were a couple of them I read. What's his name? The dad was in Hostel, apparently.
The dad was in Hostel.
Yeah. And so was one other person.
The dickhead guy who was a lawyer on Cellular was in Hostel.
Yep.
That makes sense for some reason.
So, yeah, there were a few people that have worked with Eli Roth before that were in the movie. He's the one that wrote it, directed it, produced it, all that good stuff. And he was doing it simultaneously with the Borderlands series, which has not come out yet.
Borderlands movie.
To the point where he sent his co-director to go take care of, finish up Borderlands while he was working on this, because he called this, if he said if he had one more movie after this, this would be his magnum opus. And it's the most critically acclaimed of his movies, his horror movies.
I have a sidebar. Stop casting old motherfuckers to play people who are supposed to be in their 20s at most early 30s. Stop casting people who are mid to late 50s or
We don't need to
60s.
yell at the people. Jesus. So, Ghost, stop staring at me, man. It's a little creepy.
It's time for Hollywood to let those people retire or to go into roles that are
Like,
more
I
age
know old
appropriate.
people don't want to retire and let the millennials take over, but for fuck's sake.
Like when it's supposed to be character appropriate, age the people out.
Yeah,
They've aged out.
their time is over.
And I'm not even the hugest fan of Borderlands, but like the fact that like I've played probably 3 of the games at least to a small extent, and this cast comes in and they look like grizzled ancient versions maybe of
I mean, Jamie
the
Lee Curtis is
the cast of
one of.
Borderlands. And I was under the impression that the guy that Kevin Hart is playing is way taller than Kevin Hart.
He
And
probably is.
his diminutive ass in this movie.
Anyway, don't let Kevin Hart hear you say that.
He knows he's short.
Yeah, I know. It was a joke. So I'm trying to think of how we. I guess we go over briefly what the movie is about. So spoilers, because this is a newer movie. It is on Netflix, which is where we watched it. If you don't want to hear spoilers for the movie Thanksgiving, came out in 2023.
Okay, so
Stop listening here.
it doesn't have to be super spoiler laden. What I was saying was you've got a themed killer. It doesn't necessarily have to be around Thanksgiving, but like given that we are trying to make Thanksgiving the playable thing, we'll say it's themed around Thanksgiving. Okay. You can reflavor any number of traps, monsters, kills, whatever. You can reflavor them to be turkey or Thanksgiving themed.
I suppose.
The BBEG in this case is
John Carver.
John Carver, but is also, firstly, portrayed by the DM, which means it's kind of given away that it's at least an NPC. And you have kind of a whodunit. And I will be, go get water. Go ahead.
Sorry, guys.
I will mute this so that you don't have to hear his slurping.
All right.
So, as we were saying, it will have to be, I'm going to say it has to be portrayed by the DM, or it could be a player at the table.
Okay.
But the DM has to do the killer parts.
Yeah.
Until the reveal of who it is.
Right.
So you've got a whodunit. You've got, in this case, this.
So should we talk about what the movie's about real quick?
We're gonna go as we go. We've got a well-to-do family who opens their store at 6:00 on Thanksgiving.
This is clearly supposed to be Walmart.
That's clearly supposed to be some variation of Walmart.
But it's also
Price Chopper
by the place in Evil Dead. It said that in there.
It was inspired by
Sam Raimi's Evil Dead
Mart
series
and Evil
was
Dead.
his major inspiration for becoming a horror director.
That makes so much sense on so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Mart from Evil Dead plus Walmart plus a little bit of a New England grocery chain Price Chopper.
At least that's our take on it.
It's literally called Right Mart, and they
chop prices.
They talk about slicing and chopping prices, and like that's literally.
We get that it's a pun because the killer's like major like murder weapon is an axe from the Carver house.
But Price Chopper has incorporated an axe into their logo, so like. It's very New England. They talk about Papa Gino's, which Papa Gino's is like I've never I haven't seen one outside of Massachusetts.
And the line is from an actress who's actually from Hanover, Massachusetts, and she was so excited because she'd always wanted to die in a horror movie that whenever Sam Raimi showed her what her scene was going to be like, she cried. Because she was so happy.
You mean Eli Roth?
Eli Roth. Sorry, what did I say?
You said Sam Raimi.
Oh, that is not the same.
No.
Eli Roth. She cried.
Eli Roth is the student. Sam Raimi is the teacher.
Yeah. So.
And she was what, the ninth generation descendant of
niece of John Carver.
Of the actual John Carver,
which is
historically.
Hilarious.
And she's pretty much throughout the early movie, but she's a victim. If we wanna say it's a survival horror game, you can make the killer someone at the table, but the DM at least has to do the killer part.
Yeah.
Until the reveal,
otherwise it's gonna be too obvious.
Until you figure out who it is at the table, which it adds a kind of interesting betrayal element, but I think the easy way to do it is it's definitely one of the DM's characters. Mm-hmm. You just don't know which one of them it is.
And he has quite a few.
Now
the whole town.
For an investigative whodunit ghost, I'm gonna need you to lay down.
You can get up here?
Get up here and lay down.
Come on. Or ignore me.
Or just lay down at the end of the bed. I don't care which, but decide, please. Thank you. For an investigative thing, you can have an investigator character. I will be doing a video on how to do that probably this coming week. Obviously, it's Friday, so it's the end of this week. It will be next week. I'm also already working on the script for the next one. We're going to bring a new segment to the YouTube channel called Multiclass Mayhem, where I will give my take on how to accomplish certain characters. I will take suggestions. I will go on at length about it. But in this one, there isn't really a detective. There isn't really an investigative character in terms of the main cast. You've got essentially, I would say, a couple of jocks. Mm-hmm. One who may have had like a folk hero background, but who got injured and then had to come back to town.
Now, mind you, the main characters are high school age. So you're going to have players that want to play, that are okay with playing high school age kids. And they're kind of like the popular jackasses.
Or you could age it up. It's your choice.
I guess you could make it like college, maybe.
Yeah, you don't have to make it exactly the movie.
If you're wanting to do it verbatim, then
yeah, they're high school kids. I would say the jerk boyfriend. But can we pull up the cast real quick?
Yeah.
Do you have the IMDb page up with the
I
trivia like
did.
you usually do?
Yeah.
This is yours.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That would be why I can't find it.
Because mine's on the charger.
Here you go.
We'll eliminate the adults as NPCs for the most part. Maybe not dad and stepmom. We'll allow dad and stepmom with their noble background and clearly high elf.
Yeah, but they're not throughout the entire thing, though.
So you wanna relegate them to NPCs as well?
Everybody's got to be suspect.
That's true. That's true. And I did suspect both of them at various points throughout the movie.
You did.
So let's start out with the main girl. So she's clearly intelligent.
Like the only intelligent one of the group, other than Scuba.
And she's clearly got that noble background from dad and stepmom.
Yep, because her dad's the one that owns Right Mart, and they live in a fucking mansion. And at the beginning, they talk about how it was stepmom's idea for them to open on Thanksgiving Day.
And so that people yes, people get trampled.
They open up for Thanksgiving. The reason they get trampled is because the daughter sneaks in her friends to the store so they can get into the store.
Hold on. You're getting ahead of it. So this store is having what is essentially a Black Friday run sale, but they're opening at 6 p.m. on Thanksgiving rather than opening on Black Friday because everyone else is closed, and they're trying to beat out the competition. And the daughter of the owner sneaks her friends in through the employee entrance so that they can pick some stuff up before they go party.
While they're trying to do like the security guards and sheriff are trying to keep the crowds back because they're all going insane because the first 100 people that come in get a waffle iron. And all these people suddenly want a $20 waffle iron more than they want time with their grandma on Thanksgiving.
So there are a bunch of people ready to rush the door for a $20 waffle iron. And people these high schoolers, most of them start egging on essentially what is a rival player outside.
And that they got in a fight with earlier in the movie that we didn't see.
That they got in a fight with before we even met them in the movie. And the rival player stole the megaphone, made it for everybody to rush the doors.
Started the riot, basically.
Basically started a riot. People died. Like, lots of people got trampled,
They broke
died,
the doors down and killed the security guard.
Got scalped by carts. When they broke the glass doors, somebody's neck got pushed into a shard and basically got his throat cut.
And while he was holding the waffle iron, he came there for another lady took it out of his arms while he was dying.
It was obnoxious.
The manager's wife, who had earlier been seen welcoming the sheriff to their house for Thanksgiving.
And this is the day manager. This is not the owner.
Right, the day manager. His name is Mitch. We stand with Mitch. Mitch's wife shows up to give him dinner because he gets called in because their other manager called in and didn't show up. So she brought him food from dinner, and she ends up trying to see, like, she sees them pushing on the doors and she's telling the security guard, hurry up, open the doors, they're gonna break it down, they're gonna hurt you, and the poor guy gets fucking trampled. And because of that, she gets shoved down.
They break it down just in time to as he's opening the doors, basically.
Yeah, poor guy. And
Let's not ruin the whole carnage of the scene. One of the characters does get their arm trampled, and it ruins their baseball career.
but I was saying that the wife, she was shoved down into the ground, and then after she
Okay,
clearly,
you're too much detail.
this is important though,
The wife gets dead
and scalped
and scalped
by
and
the lady up front who was screaming.
by a cart, and that's the manager's wife, and so obviously
He was killed.
the manager is a suspect for the killer later on. Uh, One character's baseball career gets ruined. They're a suspect for a
The
character.
obnoxious, stupid boyfriend was filming the whole thing on top of a register, and that's how anybody even knows what happened because he went live.
And wanted to break the internet. Yeah, it was his whole thing. He was an idiot, and yeah, so we're gonna move into the actual part of it that we're not trying to, spoil the intricate
This is just
details of the movie.
setup, though.
It's the setup, but it's also.
But we needed to know about why the lady, the waitress, was tied in. That's why I said it.
No, we don't. The waitress is just another victim.
Yeah, why was she a victim?
Waitress is the first victim. It doesn't matter
I'm
why
saying
the
he
first.
doesn't kill everybody.
Yes, I'm saying it doesn't matter why the first victim is the first victim. They're a victim.
Anyway, point is,
This could be any serial killer campaign.
we see it a year later, and main girl's boyfriend left town and ghosted her. Comes back to town for Thanksgiving.
She's dating this other guy, and they're the two dumb jocks who didn't get trampled, whose baseball careers weren't ruined, and who played football, not baseball, which to me was weird that they tried to equate all of it.
I think it was just they were jocks, and he was dating what's her face, and she was rich, so
Yeah,
she's popular.
and then there were two other friends. One of them. We'll go into another number of things, but I think we have the least amount of data about the dumb one's girlfriend.
Yeah, what was her name? Libby? Gabby? Gabby.
Hold on.
She was yelling her name in the school.
Give me your face. Right.
You turned it too far up. There.
So we have Bobby is the one who left town. Jessica is the main girl.
The daughter of the store owner.
Lonnie.
That was the rival high school dude.
Okay. Lizzie
Was the friend. Yep. It was.
And
No. Lizzie was the waitress.
Okay. Amy was one of the friends. Gabby was the other friend.
Yep. Dumb boyfriends. Yulia was the German girl.
Yulia, it wasn't German. She was Russian.
Oh, Russian.
It was heavily implied that her dad was the Russian mafia.
I mean, I couldn't tell if he was speaking German or Russian.
It was Russian.
I'm just a dumb American. I don't know shit.
Trust me, it would have sounded a lot more angry had he been German.
I mean, it still sounded angry.
You've clearly never heard a distraught or angry German person speaking their native language.
You forget that I worked at Epcot for years.
Okay.
I most certainly did.
You spaced it out with the rest of the various accents and shit you heard.
But they're very similar sounding languages, is what I'm saying.
German has a lot more consonants. Russian has a lot more of the letter Y sound. Yo.
I suppose. Yeah, that sounded ignorant as shit, Michelle.
that is like half of the vowels.
I know.
Vowel sounds in the
But
Russian
the way
language.
you said that was...
Yes, it's exactly how people
You sound
came
like
to
an
the...
ignorant, racist asshole.
It's not racist, they're white.
Whatever. No, I'm not the kind of person that thinks that white people can be... You can't be racist towards white people. It's a fallacy. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that's clear.
Racism is systemic.
Sorry. It was stereotypically insensitive.
Yes. But anyway.
Anywho, so...
I would say I'm sorry, but given what Russia's doing to the world right now...
It's not Russians' fault that they have a dictator. They're just kind of fucked. And if they speak up, they get unalived. So
oh yeah, no, we saw that first, not firsthand, but
we've seen it.
Close enough.
Yeah. Anyway, we're supposed to be talking about the
D&D and turning it into a campaign.
Mm-hmm. So
okay, I'm
a year
silencing
later,
your phone because of that.
Okay, there's a switch on the side. Now turn it back up, please. So I'm not okay. Anyway, so when you come back a year later, it comes around to Thanksgiving. And in the first part of the movie, it showed that they were giving out masks of John Carver to people that lived there. Because...
So everybody's got a John Carver mask the way everybody had a Guy Fawkes mask at the end of V for Vendetta.
Or also, ghost face masks in Scream.
Scream
2.
6.
Also in Scream 2. Remember when the franchises started coming out of Stab?
I suppose.
And what's his face? Omar Epps
got dead
got
with
moited.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah. Other people were wearing the same outfit. Anyway, so we see a lot of people wearing it. Basically, they go about their lives. Dad acts like nothing ever happened. They're still going to be open. People are pissed, and this random person has been posting pictures of them on Instagram of their place settings.
It was not of them. It's tagging them with their name at various place settings, and it says the table is set. We don't need to give this intricate of detail.
Okay, well, they need to know what happens.
No, they don't. They can watch the movie if they need to know what happens.
We're saying people belong in what for what.
No, they don't.
Okay.
That doesn't matter at all.
Okay.
Also, your killer is a person. So it's very basic serial killer survival horror whodunit campaign.
Okay, so the Walker family, they're definitely high elves.
You mean the Wright family?
Wright family, whatever, something with a W.
Yeah, the Wright family. Kathleen Wright, Jessica Wright, and Thomas Wright. I'm going to say Jessica Wright is a half-elf, which is why Kathleen always, brushes her off, and she feels like she can't talk to her dad.
Kathleen's the stepmom whose idea it was to...
I think dad is a high elf, stepmom's a high elf, Jessica's a half-elf.
That would make
from
sense.
The old marriage, which is why she feels relegated to the side.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously noble background.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to have something that's final girly, something that's
Rogue,
gritty as fuck. Honestly, I'd give Kathleen Rogue after all that fucking sneaking.
Look, both of them Kathleen, did damn good jobs.
The fucking sneaking she did. So, honestly, Jessica's smart. Which, if everybody wants to go, oh, the smart one's gonna be a wizard. And intelligence is a big thing for rogues, too. But, I'm trying to think of a subclass that would fit under rogue. uh, for her. And honestly,
With that last move, I feel like it could be assassin. You're right.
well,
No
that's that's
leftovers.
a that's a projectile gun proficiency. Um, and that last idea with the explosive gas and the blunderbuss, which wouldn't have worked, because you need a spark, and the spark would have been at the gun, and the projectiles came out,
Mm-hmm.
which that would not have triggered an explosion.
Nope.
Um,
It's like Jaws all over again.
yeah, you need a spark, and the spark can't light gas that it's not in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or that scene at the beginning of Casino Royale where James Bond shoots the giant like propane tank and it blows up, but no, that's not how you deal with propane and propane accessories.
Jesus.
Um,
Damn it.
God
Mitchie.
damn it.
Damn it, Mitchie.
God damn it, Susie.
I think he just says damn it because it was on cable
I don't
and
care.
broadcast.
I don't care.
I don't care.
Why
Why
should
should
I
I
cur?
So
I part of me almost wants to say Gloomstalker Ranger. Because you get that, like, rogue thing. You get the projectiles with a sharpshooter. You get but you get just enough dexterity to get you over a fence and then break your ankle. Like,
yeah,
the Gloomstalker Ranger would be a fit
she didn't
for
seem to
what
have a
she
broken
does.
ankle later though.
She was, like, running on a broken ankle.
Was it broken or was it? Did she roll it?
Did she roll it really badly? Did she break it? It's kind of up in the air.
Could go either way.
And they just fucked it up.
Also, adrenaline's a hell of a drug. Oh, excuse me.
Amy, the Russian daughter.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not her. It's not Amy. Yulia, the Russian daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, oh God, she was in the My Little Pony movie, and it's playing video. I can't. How do you do noble background, but you're from a sketchy ass family? I feel like you have to pull in, one of the side books, because there is a my family is basically the mafia background. And I can't remember what it is. I think it's like you're an agent of some family, and I want to say it's in the Wildmount book.
Are you tuning into us, or do we actually have a viewer?
Oh no, we might actually have one viewer.
Hello, viewer.
And whatever that background is, I'm gonna also say high elf.
Okay.
Whereas
she's
whereas
rich.
the one girl is in the group because her dad is a high elf and he's the richest.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the two other best friends are at least a high elf in one regard. Gabby could go a lot of directions because we don't get a lot of her backstory.
No, we barely see her.
I
feel like Scoop has got to be a half orc with that one point.
Why?
Because at the end he gets hurt, but he doesn't die.
He doesn't get hurt so badly that, like, you would say he was down to 0.
It could have bled out though. Like, that was his arm.
It wasn't like it was his fucking whatever this fucking thing is right here that if you get cut you die. Yeah, that's not a bleed out thing.
If he had an artery.
Yeah, if he had done this, he was doing this. Just the back of his arm. He's pretty well protected at that point.
What would you suggest then?
Well, for Evan, the big dumbass,
Oh God.
I would definitely say some sort of like barbarian Goliath.
Yeah.
Just like a fucking
He
idiot.
is not smart. And it's funny that his end. Yeah, it's not like he was using it anyway.
Jesus.
I did not like his character.
That was cold.
Shouldn't have been a dick.
I feel like we need like a separate movie for backstory on Gabby now, because like what the fuck, Gabby just got shafted.
Yeah, she did.
Like we got enough of another of everybody else's personalities to like give them like a class, and Gabby pretty much like. I'm gonna say Gabby probably is something akin to a new player at your table who has no fucking clue what they're doing, and they just want to be there for the social aspect of being there with the rest of the people. And maybe they'll get into it later.
They can choose whatever they want. Just do it for fun.
And they can kind of choose whatever they want, just doing it for fun. I'm going to say Gabby is there as a tiefling.
Okay.
Because tiefling's main objective for a lot of people who play D&D is just hotter than you.
And charisma.
And
that's
which
what you need to be popular.
And that's kind of all she is popular.
Mm-hmm. He's asking for water. He looked at it and then looked at you.
Okay.
1 second.
We're gonna let him get water again.
All right, now he's done slurping.
I want to say Scuba's something hardy, but I don't want to say half orc. I want to say Scuba's there for athletic talent.
Mm-hmm.
So anything human, variant human, is automatically knocked off unless
Right.
you're a variant human who took the athlete feat.
No. Ooh, what if he were like a tabaxi? They're coordinated.
It's too... No, they're too dexterous. He's more tanky. He's got to be something hardy. And they're species... Ooh.
I win.
That's an idea. He's got to be fast, so like... I don't know, like... I'm between Leonin and Minotaur.
I feel like Minotaur's too bulky. He wouldn't have been able to fit in places that he did.
That's true. Leonin is probably... And it's like a... My last name's Darby. What's your first name? Claude. Yeah, Scoop is better.
Trying to think.
I'm gonna say Leonin. He's got something, and he's... I want to say it's somebody who took the Sentinel feat. It could be a paladin.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's very protective, so I would think probably paladin.
And he doesn't just protect like
his
like,
girlfriend.
oh, this is just his girlfriend.
Or himself.
And he's smart enough to allow her dad to go protect her because he's clearly some sort of like Russian mafioso.
And he's also very loyal.
So
Like a loyal friend. He's very
and he
protective in
protects
that.
he protects his friends, and
Yeah.
like that's
Does what needs to be done. It's
like
very paladin.
it's very paladin, and people are like, oh, paladin is Boy Scout. Not
Not always.
necessarily, no, but like oath of devotion to friendship to your group of friends, that
Mm-hmm.
easily.
Yep. Yeah, he's definitely a
I
paladin.
I would say an oath of devotion paladin.
Yeah. And stupid boyfriend was a Goliath barbarian.
Stupid boyfriend, Goliath barbarian, probably even berserker,
Yeah.
cause like
Punching people. Fucking idiot. Um,
clearly had anger issues. Russian mafia daughter.
she's got to be high elf because she was a model.
Yeah, we knew that. She at least modeled for her own poster on her wall.
Yeah.
Um we're going to say she's a high elf,
Mm-hmm.
but class subclass.
Charlatan.
No. She's kind of stupid.
I mean,
She clearly doesn't know everything her dad has going on, like, to the full extent.
he probably keeps that from her.
On purpose. But she also clearly doesn't know why she's being carted away to Florida when there's a fucking killer in town. She's like, I don't know why he's freaking out, and why are we going to Florida? There's a literal killer after you.
And then doesn't even notice in her own room. Yeah.
She's something with low intelligence. In terms of class, which you'd almost go ahead and say barbarian again.
She's not a barbarian though.
But she's not hardy enough to be a barbarian.
Mm-mm. More of like a noble aristocratic. I'm too pretty to get my hands dirty.
So I'm going to say if dad is Russian mafia, dad is almost, I mean, he's definitely criminal,
Mm-hmm.
but like dad is mastermind rogue. But daughter is almost like patron is daddy, warlock.
Yeah, or at least his mafioso boss, if he's not the boss.
And you could change the mafia to be something from the hells, which would mean she's a fiend patron.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
And then Gabby, who's just happy to be there.
Yeah. And yelling at her dumb boyfriend.
Tiefling bard. Just happy to be there. Doesn't really matter the subclass. Honestly, motivates everybody. Doesn't do a whole lot in terms of like actual physical anything.
Does she motivate though? She's just kind of there.
Well, she's clearly somebody's motivation because like she survives.
Wait, which one?
Gabby.
Does she? I guess she does survive.
Yeah, because he has to go running after Jessica.
Yeah.
So Gabby, I'm gonna say.
I still feel like it should be up to the player. Like if you have a newbie who needs a
Uh,
one shot to get acquainted.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say basis tiefling bard is probably like, here's the easy basis. Tiefling bard. Maybe a glamour bard because being hotter than you is the main objective here. And Amy is the cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
If we're saying that the cheerleader is one of the characters,
Mm-hmm.
playable, And not just an NPC victim,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of an NPC victim. I'm going to say a bard is also literally a cheerleader.
Yeah.
She's from the other school. She's kind of generic. Probably give her variant human bard. And she could be a lore bard, doesn't really matter. Backstory also doesn't matter. We don't get enough of hers either.
Mm-mm.
Now, and another, berserker barbarian, the boyfriend Lonnie, um, the one who got punched in the eye by the guy who did the punching. Possibly even another Goliath, doesn't fucking matter, or he's the half orc. I don't know about that. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Yeah. No.
No.
I would almost say bugbear. Or a Goliath from like a competing.
That's what I was saying.
Family.
Like a Goliath from a compete. Yeah. Anyway, so all that being said, if you were put in a game that you were told, okay, it's a whodunit, it's also a serial killer, and it's a one shot, and it's cheesy as fuck, Thanksgiving themed, what would you play as? And I'm not saying from this list of
What would I play as?
what would be your go-to?
It would depend on the storyline. Like, I would want to know more about the background and see if I could find something that would fit within that.
If you had the okay, you've got the basic small town, small historic town, serial killer,
I'm trying to survive.
out for revenge, survival horror, whodunit campaign.
I'm trying to remember what they're called. Because I would think that their hearing would be up there. The bunny people.
The Harangon?
Yeah.
I don't think they get bonuses to hearing.
That's dumb.
I know.
Um,
I'm gonna check that now.
I mean, if we were going with the compendium, I would say fawn. Like a white-tailed fawn.
Let's see. Harangon 5e. Let's see. You do have proficiency in perception. You could flavor that as hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be a Harangon. Probably... I would say monk or fighter. Probably monk. Because you don't always have a weapon around you. You got to be able to defend yourself.
So you're saying you would go with a Kensei monk who specializes in improvised weapons.
Yeah.
Which would have to be an allowance made at the table because, like, it's like, oh, you have to choose this or that with the Kensei. And also there's a Tasha's rule where you can attune to anything and make it a weapon. But, like, if you don't have time, I would say if somebody's taking a Kensei monk and they want to specialize in improvised weapons exclusively in place of the 3 they would get to choose, I would allow that at the table. Because that would be...
That's just too much fun.
It's too much fun. Everything's a weapon. Everything's a fucking weapon at that point.
And
I would want to see how that plays out.
Background, I guess, doesn't really matter in this situation. it would depend on where the town is at. If it's Baytown, maybe I'll go Whaler. If it's more in the forest,
you would want your background to fit the campaign rather
right?
than your background give you some extra boost.
Right.
Whereas,
Because then I can think about how that would benefit me, and how I could use it, and how it would make sense to the story and still make it fun, rather than like, ooh, I've got an OP character and I'm gonna kill everybody and survive.
I would want my investigator that I came up with for the video that I'm gonna make this coming week. Cause being a pallet elf, uh, it's a couple levels of this, couple levels of that, and then mostly after that, inquisitive rogue with the investigator background. Because I went at creating an investigator from the Dungeon Dudes video saying the Inquisitive Rogue is not the best investigator. And I said, okay, but
What if it was?
it kind of is, but if you could solve these problems they listed with it, it would be an infinitely better investigator. And if you could solve them by multi-classing and taking feats, absolutely 100% that's the direction we're going in. And that's what my video will be this coming week, is about that, and that is in any whodunit scenario gonna be my go-to answer. Barring that, I would want to be something as fast and as hardy as possible. So I would almost want to build a Goliath rogue.
That would be interesting.
And just pump everything into dex in terms of where I was on level. Because I want that speed. I want that off the mark. And if we're taking a feat, I'm going to either take alert or I'm going to take athlete.
Yeah.
Because
I would take mobile.
That's another good one for this too. Good feats for this would be alert, athlete, and mobile.
And lucky.
That's like a main character moment ask is the lucky feat. But like if I'm a rogue, I already get luck at one point, depending on
or you could have double the luck.
How high a level I am. I don't know that it doubles up. I don't know if it's like proficiency where it doesn't stack.
Be cool if it did though. You play domino.
You know how many times I've looked at things and I'm like, how could I get this to stack? And then there's that fucking thing. And it bugs the shit out of me. So Rangers and Tasha's get this, it's called like a canny skill. And it's effectively for Rangers the equivalent to Rogues getting expertise. But it doesn't stack with Rogue expertise, even though it's not the same technical thing.
That's dumb. I say as if, being OP would be fun.
Because one of them doubles your proficiency, and one of them doubles the modifier. So if you stacked them correctly, you'd have a +8.
Yeah, it's a little OP.
But it's only in like one skill.
Still.
I don't give a shit. One skill. If that skill's investigation or that skill's like any...
Yeah, I don't want to make it too easy. It takes all the fun out of it.
Making one thing like a power skill, I can absolutely like get behind.
You would have to... I would say... if you did that, you would have to choose something in which you would be detrimental at. Like
so basically give your fucking character autism. That's fun. I was born this way.
Keeps things more interesting.
+8 to investigation, -8 to insight.
Yeah, basically. Your actual perception is shit.
My actual perception is great, but I can't vocalize it.
Oh no.
I see and hear everything, but I couldn't tell you about it to save my life. Really poor on the performance check in describing anything.
Unless you're writing it. In which case you need a minute.
To write it down, I'm like non-verbal. I'm like, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on. And my character would die before they finished describing something. Mm-hmm. Even if they were an elf, they're 750 years later and starving to death, trying to carve out the last thing they saw in a single moment, because that's how a sensory overload works. Fuck.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Are we missing anybody? Mitch was barely in it.
No, that's an NPC that you suspect.
Yeah.
You also suspect Dad. You also suspect Kathleen. You suspect everybody else. Like, the only arguable back and forth character that I would say could have been both a suspect and a player character is Bobby.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess the new boyfriend, but he just kind of disappears.
I think he's asking me to take him.
I would be taking him. Because it's my night for the 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But I don't think, because both of them disappear for so long, and both of them are such solid suspects, unless you were playing it the way where somebody at the table is the killer.
In a minute. Sorry.
Unless you were playing it the way where someone at the table is the killer.
Mm-hmm.
And the DM is only doing the killer parts during the part where you don't know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they're player characters. I think they have to be NPCs.
You gonna get up here?
You coming up here? Come on. Jump.
There you go.
Are you going to face the camera now?
Yep.
And I think with that, you all have been blessed with a ghost.
Yep.
And we shall call it good for this week.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, go watch it.
It's
there's
gory.
So many.
There are butts.
There's so many.
There's drug use and underage drinking.
It feels like I just watched an adult Scooby-Doo episode.
I mean, kinda.
Like a Thanksgiving-themed adult Scooby-Doo episode.
Kinda, yeah. If it weren't for you meddling kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It full-on felt like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, except it wasn't haunted. It was just a whodunit.
It was a scuba-doo. And
they even said it.
They even called him Scuba Dooba Doo at one point.
Except instead of there being a dog, there was a cat.
I love the cat.
Mm-hmm. The cat was the best part.
Cat was the best part of the movie.
Mm-hmm. And I love that Eli Roth was like, no, I think about the rest of the movie. What happened to the pet? We have to answer the question.
The pet got fed.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Single viewer, whoever you are, even if it's accidentally one of us. We love you. Have a good night.
Yes, have a good evening.
Bye.